Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new NVIDIA daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over NVIDIA stock. Let's go over what has happened to the stock, what we can expect moving forward into a shorter week next week. Friday, of course, the market is closed. And yeah, I'll give you my thoughts. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you enjoy my technical analysis, I do share my thoughts with my members, every single day. The market is open constantly throughout the entire day. So definitely check it out. Link is below. For just $3 a month gives you access to my Tesla tier. $5 a month adds NVIDIA to that as well. And of course, if you're interested, for $7 a month gives you access to the non-Tesla, non-NVIDIA stocks that I share with my members there as well when I see opportunities. And over the weekend, we do a chart requests with members over on Discord. So link below if you're interested. Definitely would love to have you there. Well over 600 members now. Very nice to see, and I appreciate the support. I really do, actually. It's very cool. But jumping into it, NVIDIA, nice respectable day. 1.8% on the day, closing just shy of $158 per share, reaching a fresh all-time high once again, which is a beautiful sight to see for the stock. Well deserved after a pretty painful, honestly, the stock has been pretty much dead money for like, I don't know, arguably from November last year, pretty much until like, honestly, almost for like 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, something like that. Math is hard, man. Whatever, a long time. Anyways, jumping into it. So, what is there to expect for NVIDIA moving forward, right? Well, there's a few things, right? There's a lot to talk about in my opinion. So, first and foremost, right, let's just make, get the obvious stuff out of the way. What is the trend, right? What is the trend for NVIDIA right now? Is the trend up or is it down? Well, I think it's safe to say the trend is up, right? Why is the trend up? Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, we're still in this very large daily rising channel. That's obviously bullish, right? We're in a daily rising channel. Beautiful stuff. Nothing to see there. And it's going to continue rising in this daily rising channel until proven otherwise, which at some point it will. At some point it will fall out. Clearly we're not there yet, and clearly we're quite a ways away from that. So nothing really to worry about just yet. On top of that, we have the exponential moving averages. Like I mentioned, even during this consolidation, we were holding the 8 exponential moving average, which is this green one, for quite some time. Now, obviously, here and there, some warning signs were being shown potentially, but nonetheless, it was still holding it pretty beautifully. And overall, the trend was still up. Like I said, despite even if we got that pullback, the trend was still very much up because where the EMAs are still very nicely bullish looking. Now, NVIDIA, all the way up here, right? Obviously, it's a little bit extended, but the trend, like I said, is very much up. Another way to look at trend is, of course, for instance, from flux charts, you can see here, we can use this indicator right here. Pretty simple stuff. If it's green, the market, the momentum most likely is more skewed to the upside, to the downside. If it's red, well, quite the opposite. And you can see here, well, we're clearly in a more bullish perspective as well for NVIDIA, which is a nice sight to see. And on top of that, we can also use their other pretty cool indicator that they have, where they show fair value gaps on the stock, change of characters, break of structures. This is really important, actually. So if you're someone that's not very good when it comes to change of characters, break of structures, which is actually really, really important, this is crucial, right? For instance, remember this a long time ago, I talked about this change of character here that we broke down below, and I mentioned this was a dead cat. That's the reason. The only reason this was a dead cat was because this change of character occurred. That's the only reason this was a dead cat, right? So this is, very important to understand, right? And you can see it had another change of character all the way up here, which implies that the fact that in this case, because it's a, kind of teal change of character, it's a bullish change of character. Red obviously is bearish. So using these indicators, you can get an idea of what the trend is, for instance. Right now, granted, we have some fair value gaps under us, especially this really large one down here. So that is something I'll be talking about very soon. Which, by the way, Flux Charts, it is a sponsor of today's video. The link is down below. If you're interested, definitely check that out. They have a lot of free alerts, free indicators, I should say, but they also have really good premium ones as well, 2 of which I just showed you, which is essentially a bunch of indicators into one, making it pretty nice and easy. So link is below if you're interested with the discount. But, talking about this fair value gap, right? This is something to watch out for, actually, like unironically. And the reason for that is pretty simple because, well, number one, we're getting close despite being in this massive rising daily channel. We are still getting very close now to the upper end of the spectrum, kind of like we did here, kind of like we did here. Now we're getting pretty much the next stage, if you will, right? Which, again, there's still a little bit more room higher. I'm not saying it's done here. We could still get closer to about 160 roughly, give or take a couple dollars there, of course. But yeah, we're getting pretty damn close regardless to the top of this rising daily channel. And that's going to be a massive, massive area to watch out for. And I've said this before in many other videos as well, including the Tesla videos. It's very, very uncommon for me to see in a daily rising channel like this for a breakout to the north side, like for instance, something like this. It can happen. Absolutely. Nothing is guaranteed in this market, of course, but it's very, very, very rare. Like if I had to see like 100 of these daily rising channels and, look for something like this to occur, maybe like 5 of them, 10 at most. Not often at all, right? It's very, very rare I see this. And the reason I bring that up is because this, naturally, well, going to be resistance, right? This massive rising channel is going to be a very, very large resistance for the stock, which then brings me to the fair value gap and potentially the bottom end of the spectrum over here, right? What do we want to look out for when it comes to these kind of situations? Well, if NVIDIA does indeed get a rejection somewhere around 106 as we approach the top of this daily rising channel, well, that's where we essentially can make our way back down to very crucial levels. The first of which being pretty much right down to the previous all-time high at 153, which is the beginning of this fair value gap fill, which fair value gaps are actually pretty important. You know, these used to be fair value gaps that we did fill already. The second of which is going to be a move back down a little bit lower, closer to 148, 149. And the worst case scenario is this fair value gap all the way at the bottom here, closer pretty much back down to about 145 roughly, right? Those are the three major support levels that NVIDIA has. That looks something like this, right? I don't know which one it'll go down to. Obviously, nobody knows which one will be enough, which one it'll bounce from, blah, 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 blah. But these are the three major fair value gaps as well to watch out for. That also actually coincides pretty beautifully with also just, you know, the natural support / resistance levels. In this case, of course, these are three support levels to watch out for as well for the stock. Now, again, those are the levels I'll be looking for to the downside off of this potential rejection towards this daily top rising channel, right? I've also mentioned on the 4-hour how the SMI is now getting that bearish kind of, you know, crossover. That's another sign for me, the fact that the momentum to the upside is most likely starting to stall out. Whenever I see this, that usually is the case. Again, not everything is perfect. This doesn't mean it has to be guaranteed. It's guaranteed near the top now. You know, nothing is perfect, of course, like I said, but, you know, statistically, it's pretty damn good. It's pretty accurate. So let's see how all these factors together play out all together. What else is there? Okay, let's talk about the bearish case, right? We don't want to, I mean, yeah, the NVIDIA is very bullish, but we don't want to fully discount a potential bearish case. What is the bearish case? What are two signs for me personally, if I saw them, would make me get pretty bearish on the stock, to be completely honest with you? And that would be two things. Number one, which by the way, we're very far away from, but it's worth mentioning nonetheless. Well, obviously the blatant one is, well, just simply losing this daily rising channel. If we fall out of this daily rising channel, I mean, that's, you know, I think that speaks for itself. That's probably not a very bullish thing to see. And the second of which actually kind of lines up pretty well with the potential falling out of this rising channel, is essentially losing this low down here, right? I would not want to lose this low right here, because to me right now, this is actually the swing low that occurred right before this massive move to the upside occurred. So this becomes a strong low for the bulls, pretty much 141/142. And as long as the bulls on any retracement down here, it doesn't even matter where, as long as it doesn't go below here, I'm very bullish, right? And I think the stock, again, it will most likely find a bottom at one of these spots. Worst case scenario, if it gets really boring, maybe a large kind of daily bullish flag into the bottom end of this channel, as long as it holds above this, which also could line up beautifully with the Fibonacci's. If you take the Fibonacci's, assuming this is the top, of course, right back down to the 618 or even the 786 fibs, sitting anywhere between as high as 148 to as low as about 145. Whichever, but like one of these situations, you know, I can definitely see occurring into just a nice bullish continuation after that regardless. So hopefully that makes sense. It's a lot of information, but there's just a lot of possibilities that can occur from here on NVIDIA, all of which in my opinion are bullish, as long as, again, well, you know, we maintain within the rising channel and essentially above pretty much 141/142. But yeah, that's kind of all I got for you right here. In terms of the weekly, let's take a quick look at the weekly and see what that's looking like over here. Nice break of structure as well. The stock is very bullish. I mean, there's no denying that. It's a very, very, very bullish situation. But it doesn't mean, you know, any bullish market structure, any bullish situation still has pullbacks, right? So again, I'd absolutely be watching for worst case scenario about 145. All the way down here, you can see for many, many weeks, weeks, we're present right here on NVIDIA, constant selling pressure. No, now I wouldn't be surprised if we get a nice, beautiful retest of this beautiful zone. Turn this area that was evidently a resistance, a lot of selling pressure, and now turn it into a nice area of supports and make our way higher after that. So in other words, I honestly believe if you got NVIDIA pretty much sub 130, there's a good chance that you're, you know, in some pretty nice shares there that if I were you, I would hold on to pretty tightly, unless the market crashes again, which is a possibility. You never know, of course. But as of right now, that's my kind of bullish perspective, my bullish outlook on the stock. And I see no reason to look at it in any other way until proven otherwise, such as, of course, losing this daily rising channel. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Let me know what you think down below. Options fill very quickly. Let's take a look at it and see what's happening on the stock over here. Anything worthwhile? Yeah, pretty bullish flow throughout the day. Nice 1.5 million call there. That's a leap, so I don't care about that. But we have almost a 1 million call for 160 strike for next week. Actually, very unusual. So maybe we do get that push up closer to 160 after all, before we potentially get, what could be a rejection into that situation I just mentioned as well. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you on Monday. Peace.